Assalamualaikum and greetings to Sir Muhammad Faiz and fellow friends. We are from Group 3 will be present on topic 10, which are conflict and negotiation. My name is Nur Ifah Amalina binti Mazuki.
I am Siti Hawa binti Merkani.
My name is Nur Shamira binti Muhammad Isa.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Wan Ayu Rasmi binti Wan Muhammad Yusuf.
Jane has just been appointed as purchasing manager of Tacoma Technologies Corporation. The previous purchasing manager, who recently retired, was known for his winner-take-all approach to suppliers world purpose. A few suppliers refused to do business with Tacoma Technologies, but senior manager, who confident that the former purchasing manager approach minimized the company's cost. James wants to try a more problem-solving approach to working with suppliers. Contrast James and her predecessor's approach to negotiations in terms of the dimension of interpersonal conflict management style. Then explain whether Jane's approach will be effective. Answering to the question 1. As related to the question, the previous purchasing manager used the winner-take-all approach. This approach, known as win-loss orientation. Let me explain a little bit about win-loss orientation. Actually, this orientation under forcing approach, which is it's try to win the conflict at others' expenses. They believe the parties are drawing from fixed pie means that the more one party receives, the less the other party will receive. This strategy should spend a lot of money to them in order to achieve the top spot in market share, because they will likely keep that spot in the future. For example, people believe that begin number 1, they makes it likely that you will continue to be number 1 in the future. The reason for staying number 1 include customer likes to continue to buy from the leading vendor. You don't have to spend as much on advertising, so you become more profitable over time, and suppliers start giving you a better deals in order to get sold on your service. We can relate on the question where previous purchasing manager continually fought for more discount and was skeptical about any special deal that the supplier will offer. Supposedly, if the previous purchasing manager want to make that his winner-take-all approach become effective, he should have these two actions, which is the first action is to achieve the good alternative developed which increase the person's power. The second action is to develop a small number of strong arguments and then keep repeatedly them.
Problem-solving approach try to find a mutually beneficial solution for both parties. As mentioned at the question, Jane, as the new purchasing manager, wish to use problem-solving approach to work with the supplier, where problem-solving approach can be known as the win-win orientation, because people usually use this style, believe that the resources at stake are expendable rather than fixed. If the if the parties work together to find a creative solution. Other than that, information sharing is an important feature of this style, because both parties collaborate to identify common ground and potential solution that satisfy everyone involved. For example, when Jane used this kind of approach, she and the other party will be discussed and will get the best decision, which the decision will satisfy both of them. In addition, problem solving has long been identified as the preferred conflict handling style because dialogue and clear thinking help people to break out of the limited boundaries of their opposing alternative to find an integrated solution where both individuals gain value. Recent studies report problem solving improve long relationship, reduce stress and minimize emotional defensiveness, and indication of relationship conflict. While using this approach, Jane can create a good relationship with the company and their supplier and able to get the best discount or price for the company without forcing the supplier like the previous approach, which is winner take all approach. Thus, in order Jane to make sure that her problem solving approach to become more effective, she should follow these two actions, which the first is display of firm flexibility, where we remain firm in meeting our most important needs, which being flexible about how this is accomplished. But the second action should be taken by Jane is described in more detail in the section of negotiation, because this is the use of trade-off to ensure that both party needs are met. As a conclusion, the decision made by Jane to use the problem-solving approach is the best decision because this approach is more effective rather than winner-take approach.
Okay, question 2 is describe strategies that will help a team of employees to reduce the level of socio-economic conflict while the team is engaging in constructive conflict. Your answer also briefly explain why each strategy may be effective. The second question is discuss 4 types of conflict resolution style that could be overcome interpersonal conflict. So firstly, describe the meaning of conflict. Conflict is a process in which a person perceives that its interests are being opposed or negatively affected by the others. There are 2 types of conflict, which are constructive conflict and relationship conflict. The constructive conflict, whereby the conflict is aimed at issue and not the party, whereby the manager encourages the employees to have free expressions regarding their opinions and feelings. So there are 3 strategies that would help the employees to reduce this conflict. The first is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is ability to perceive and express emotion, assimilate emotions, understand and reason with emotion, and regulate in oneself and others. Second strategy is cohesive teams. Cohesive team is from a united teams and can fit together well, can benefit their organizations because they make everybody easily to follow the instruction and procedures that made by the organization. Thirdly is supportive team norms. Introduce supportive team norms can help all the organization members not feel a burden and motivate to achieve and ensure they can achieve success in the future. So this strategy can be considered as effective strategy because the employee get the support from the manager in the organization, and they can have the chances to express their opinion regarding the management that regarding the operations of management, and they have chances to participate during the meeting that conducted by the organization itself. So there are 4 types of conflict resolution. Firstly is avoiding. Avoiding is trying to smooth over or avoid conflict situations altogether. It represents a low concern for the both self and other party. Avoider try to surprise thinking about the conflict. Secondly is problem solving. Problem solving is related to the win-win orientation, whereby belief party will find a mutually beneficial solutions. Belief at stakes are extendable rather than fixed if the party work together to find a creative solution. Third types of resolve conflict is forcing. Win-lose orientation, whereby belief that the more one party receive, the less the other party receive. Forcing preferred when required a quick solutions, and the other party would take advantage of the more cooperative strategies. The last types of conflict is compromising. Compromising may be the best solutions when there is a little hope for the mutual gains. Through compromising, both parties have equal power and both are under time pressure to settle their differences. Compromising involves looking for a position in which your lose are offset of equally value gain.
Question 3. A few years ago, a clothing retailer was expanding rapidly, so the CEO has hired several executives from large corporations. Unfortunately, the new executive clashed with the current executive regarding business strategy. The CEO explained, "We ended up with an old team and a new team, and they were not on the same wavelength. Identify the sources of conflict in this situation and identify 2 strategies to minimize this conflict in the future." By answering question 3, there are few sources of conflict can be defined. First sources of conflict is incompatible goals. It is the existence of different goals between individuals or group of individuals at work. Within an organization, incompatible goals often arise because of the different ways department managers are compensated. For example, in a group of members, there are 2 different goals have been suggested, which are either to increase the sales or to achieve more loyal customer. With low number of customers, they may not able to increase sales, and if they attract more customer by giving freebies, it might help to increase the sale even though they have to spend more money into it. Another source of conflict are task interdependence. It is a conflict increases with interdependence, where parties more likely to interfere with each other. That is, accomplishment of your goal requires reliance on others to perform their task. For example, if you are tasked with creating advertising for your product, you are dependent on the creative team to design the words and layout. Next sources are limited resources. The resources such as money, time, and equipment are often limited, that lead in motivate competition between members in organization for the resources. Members may fight over the limited resources available to accomplish team's tasks. For example, if 2 people both rely on the action of a third person to meet identical deadlines, disagreement might arise over whose work should receive that person's attention first. Last but not least, the existence of communication problem, whereby it will increase stereotyping, reduce motivation to communicate. When people in conflict, they often concentrate more in response to their opponent's statement rather than listening to their opponent's word with full attention. This will lead to misunderstanding among the members in organization. Thereby, there are two strategies to minimize this conflict. First, with emotional intelligence. It is the ability to identify, use, understand, and manage emotion in positive ways to communicate effectively. It will also help you build stronger relationships, success at work, and achieve your career and personal goals. Thus, in the reference case, the new executive and old executive must able to recognize their emotional intelligence and use it to understand of emotions, to relate better to other peoples, achieve greater success at work and others. Another way to minimize the conflict is cohesive team. With cohesive work team, they will know how to communicate and share the workload to maximize the skills and talent of the individual. The ideal team is able to come together to accomplish shared goals despite difference in work methods, communication, and skill levels. Thus, both executives should be able to resolve the conflict immediately in order to achieve particular goals.